From the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II men's basketball coverage live on the ECC network. In tonight's second game of our East Coast Conference doubleheader, the men of the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the men of the Mercy College Mavericks. Good evening, everybody. Once again, this is Joe Foreman on the call solo this evening for a battle of 1 and 4 teams. Last time out for the Dolphins, it was a tough loss at pace. A shorthanded Dolphins unit fell by just 4 points. The Dolphins held the lead entering the closing minutes, but could not hold on in their fourth loss of the season. As for these two teams and their history, they split a pair of games played last season. Those two meetings, the only two meetings between these two sides. I mentioned the Dolphins last played on Sunday at Pace in a defeat. The Mavericks also last played on Sunday, and they dropped their last game against Caldwell University by a final score of 91-74. The Dolphins are led in scoring by Bryce Waterman. He is not active for today's game. There are several Dolphins who are standing underneath the basket in street clothes right now. There you see Waterman, and there you see several other Dolphins who are inactive for tonight's game. The players out on the court taking warm-ups right now: Velasquez, Cardenas, Armas, Oyakanmi, Chestnut, Fakarode, Mallory, Shkolny, Vargas. Those are the active Dolphins for tonight's game. Perhaps I may have missed one, but I don't believe so. As taking a look out on the court, it appears that all the active Dolphins have already gotten out there for their warm-up. So the Dolphins, once again, will be a bit shorthanded, but they come in having gotten stellar performances from their starting point guard and senior Chris Velasquez over each of their last two games. He hit the game winner last week at St. Michael's, then had 21 points in the following game on Sunday against Pace. Luis Armas is also averaging double figures. He's averaging nearly 15 points per game. And, of course, the reigning East Coast Conference Rookie of the Year, Messiah Mallory, has 15.6 points per game, trailing just Waterman at 15.8. Mallory also leads the Dolphins in rebounding with over 8 rebounds per game. On the other side, James Taylor Jr. and Sean Smith Jr. are both averaging right around the 12-point mark for Mercy College. The latter is shooting 50% from the floor, and their leading rebounder is Jaden DeWall, who has exactly 8.2 rebounds per game. That matches Messiah Mallory of the Dolphins. Both teams have shot right around the 42% mark on the season. The Dolphins, however, hold a distinct advantage in three-point shooting. CSI has connected on 40% of their three-pointers this season, while the Mavericks have hit just above 34% of their attempts from beyond the arc. So with about 2 minutes to go before tip-off in this game, we thank you for joining us. And this, of course, is the McDonald's pregame show. McDonald's, our scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island. Of course, this is a men's basketball contest. I'll get that changed for you right now. But the Dolphins and the Mavericks are coming up next on the other side of a short break. And we still have some time to preview tonight's matchup a bit further. I mentioned that the Dolphins come in shooting better than the Mavericks have from three-point range this season. Dolphin opponents on the season have shot right around 44%. So the Dolphins have allowed solid shooting to the opposition this year from three-point range. Opponents have shot right around 37%. That split is not great. 44% opponent shooting from the field, 37% from three. The Dolphins have been nearly as good from the field as I mentioned before, around 42.5%. The Dolphins have been phenomenal from three at an even 40% on the season. They are missing one of their top three-point shooters in Bryce Waterman. He entered action going into the last game. He played right around the 43% mark. Messiah Mallory shooting around 31% from three. Luis Armas up above 38%. Chris Velasquez at 36%. And in very limited attempts, J.J. Chestnut at 43%. So for the Dolphins, three-point shooting could potentially be an area where they seek to gain an advantage in this game. Definitely one area to look at in terms of a potential Dolphins advantage. Taking a look at the rebounding margin, that's an area that Mercy can look to exploit. The Dolphins have been out-rebounded on a per-game basis by about 8 boards per game. And with that, it brings us to the introduction of starting lineups down on the floor. We will step aside and take a very short break. This has been the McDonald's pregame show ahead of tonight's matchup between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the Mercy College Mavericks. On the other side of this break, East Coast Conference basketball on CSI Sportsnet.
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4899.
And we are back from the tank as starters have been introduced out on the floor. I have the starters for both teams, beginning first with the visiting Mercy College Mavericks. In numerical order, the Mercy starters: number 1, Braylon Joe; number 2, James Taylor Jr.; number 3, Sean Smith Jr.; number 4, Garrett Kirkland; and number 5, Corey Lee. For the College of Staten Island, their starters in numerical order: 0, Chris Velasquez; 10, Luis Armas; number 20, J.J. Chestnut; number 23, Messiah Mallory; and number 30, David Shkolny. Not sure if I mentioned Shkolny among the Dolphins who are warming up out on the floor ahead of the game, but Shkolny is active for tonight's game as well for the Dolphins. As I mentioned before, both teams come in with a record of 1-4 on the season. This is the conference opener for both sides as we are greeted by some of the Dolphins ahead of tip-off in tonight's game. You may have caught it right at the bottom of your screen. Mallory and Lee will jump to get things started from the tank. And the tip goes to the Dolphins as we are underway from the College of Staten Island. Mallory looks to drive, defended by Lee. Half spin. Mallory can't finish off the window, and the rebound goes to the Mavericks. Mavericks work it around the outside. Crossover by Smith Jr. His step back no good. Rebounded by Armas. Chestnut will bring it up. He had a 14-assist game last week against St. Michael's. Velasquez gets trapped. Sends it out to Mallory. 12 on the shot clock. This is Shkolny. Shkolny for Velasquez for Armas. Corner 3. No good. And the rebound goes to Lee. Left open there was Taylor Jr., and James Taylor Jr. has the game's first basket. 3-0 Mavericks to open up the scoring in this first half. Velasquez over to Mallory. Now Chestnut back out to Mallory. He hands off to Armas. His 3 is up. Splash! And the Dolphins are on the board with an early triple. Two teams trading 3-pointers early. Trying again is Taylor Jr., and he knocks it down again. James Taylor Jr. with a contested three-pointer to put the Mavericks back up by 3. Shkolny uses the Mallory screen, and he wanted Mallory to roll. He did not. Here comes Joe. Kick out. Open man up top with Smith Jr. He looks to drive, and he commits an offensive foul. Just under 2 minutes gone by in this first half. 6-3 our score. In case you missed it, CSI women's basketball picked up the win in the early game. Dolphins won it by 4. Third straight win for the women. Chestnut for 3. Splash. Open jump shot from the corner is good for Corey Lee. These teams going back and forth as Chestnut lost his footing. That's been a problem area on the court in terms of condensation. We saw that early in the season. As Shkolny tries a 3, and he knocks it down. Armas with a 3. Chestnut with a 3. Shkolny with a 3. The Dolphins lead by 1. Joe nearly got pinned to the baseline, was able to get it out, and Lee was fouled. As I mentioned during the pregame, the Dolphins' three-point shooting this year has been phenomenal. Over 40% from beyond the arc. They've allowed opponents to shoot 44% from the field and 37% from three-point range. They haven't rebounded it well. That's been the big blemish on their stat line. They also haven't closed out the first half very well in games. Protecting leads has been an issue for them. Joe, pull up, air ball, and Armas will let it go. I think Braylon Joe may have been a bit surprised by how open he was. Fanatics with chance of air ball from behind the Dolphins bench. Chestnut hands off to Armas, now Shkolny. Right back to Armas, they work it into Mallory. Mallory posts up. They let him go one-on-one. Instead, Armas for 3. Splash. Luis Armas with 2 early threes. Dolphins lead it by 4. Taylor Jr. almost lost it. He brings it back outside. 15 on the shot clock. Crossover. And a moving screen is called. Corey Lee picks up the offensive foul. Fanatics getting a bit engaged in this game early. Never anything less than a good time going on over there. Chestnut will bring it up with his team leading by 4. Just over 4 minutes gone by in the first half. Chestnut over to Mallory. That pass intended for Armas was tipped. Sean Conroy in the game for the Mavericks. He defends Armas. Step back. Splash. Armas 3 for 3 from downtown. What a start for the Dolphins sophomore. Here comes Taylor Jr. He coughs it up. What a start for this Dolphins team. 5 of 5 from three-point range. Armas responsible for 3 of those. Can the Dolphins sustain this kind of shooting? Velasquez left open on the baseline, and he doesn't get the roll. Chestnut with the rebound. He's blocked. Chestnut stays in bounds and came down on the baseline. And that will bring us to our first media timeout. The Dolphins open the game 5 of 6 from beyond the arc. They lead it 15-8 with just over 15 minutes to play in the first half.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the tank where the Dolphins lead by 7 early in this first half. Under 5 minutes gone by in half number 1. Dolphins are 5 of 6 from three-point range. That accounts for all 15 points. And now the Dolphins will look to apply some full-court pressure here. I touched on it during the pregame. These two teams split the two meetings last season. Mavericks going with the same 5 from ahead of the timeout as they turn it over. And the Dolphins have a chance to potentially extend this lead to double digits. Chestnut over to Velasquez, back up top to Shkolny. They'll work it to Mallory on the block. Tight window on that pass, and it's stolen by the Mavericks. Not a good pass there. Fake in the corner, Conroy for 3, no good. Rebound goes to Joe, and he will flip it up and in. Braylon Joe lays it in for 2. Here comes Chestnut to the rim. Can't finish, but Mallory puts it back up and in. Mallory just about was able to dunk that in. That was a perfectly timed jump by the reigning East Coast Conference Rookie of the Year. Three-pointer by Taylor Jr., no good. He was off to a nice start shooting. That's his first miss. Armas, corner 3. No good. Rebound goes to Kirkland. Here comes Taylor Jr. up the floor. Conroy back to Taylor Jr. I think we may have had a kick ball there on the entry pass, as the Mavericks will make a pair of changes. Kirkland and Lee to the bench. Brandon Wilson and Asakone check into the game. Joe, left-handed floater, won't go. And looks like Kone was fouled underneath. Mavericks will inbound from the baseline. 13:20 remaining in the half, 20 on the shot clock. Conroy was fouled. Armas not happy there as he commits the personal. And that's going to be 3 shots for the freshman guard from Staten Island, New York. Homecoming this evening for Conroy. And he gets the first free throw to go. First 2 free throws up and good. One more from the line for Conroy with his team trailing by 5. That rattles out. Armas grabs the board. Chestnut for Mallory. Mallory, double teamed, finds the open man, and that's an easy 2 for Michael Oyakanmi. Mallory, always a willing passer. Not an easy man to double team. Kone, pull up. Not close. Oyekanmi with the rebound. Mallory wants it. Will they double again? They won't get the chance, as Mallory was whistled for a travel. Adefella Fakarode checks in for the Dolphins. Chris Velasquez to the bench. CSI leading by 7 with 12.5 to play in the first half. Wilson to Kone. He hands off to Taylor Jr. Kone, right back to Taylor Jr. Tough shot over Mallory is not close. Good defense by the Dolphins. And jump ball was called. Possession arrow favors the Mavericks. Once again, 20 to shoot for Mercy College. Their 5 on the floor. Wilson, Joe, Taylor Jr., Smith Jr., and Kone. Wilson looking for somewhere to go with it. And Oyekanmi almost got a hand on it. Joe looks to drive against Chestnut. Tough fall away shot, and he gets the roll. Braylon Joe now has 4. Mallory left open for 3. Count it. You can't double team him. You can't give him space from 3. Mallory is a tough cover for any team. He averages nearly 16 a game for the Dolphins, as Kone is too strong on the jump shot. Oyekanmi the rebound. Mallory wants it back. Here comes Chestnut, and he can't finish with the left. Here comes Braylon Joe. Up top, Taylor Jr. open, and he can't connect. Pace picking up in this game as the Dolphins lead it by 8. 11 minutes to play in the first half. Chestnut into the corner for Armas. Armas was fouled. That's 3 team fouls on the Mavericks, and that will send us to another media timeout. Our score with 10:55 remaining in the first half, CSI 22, Mercy College 14.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Joe Foreman rejoining you from the tank, where the Dolphins lead it by 8 points with just under 11 minutes to play in the first half. Once again, a red-hot start for the Dolphins. In each of their games here at home this year, they've gotten off to very strong starts. However, they are still looking for their first home win, also their first conference win, as for both teams, this is their conference opener. Mallory gets to Chestnut and receives it right back. Mallory had that pass tipped. He was looking for Fakarode. To the rim goes Wilson, and that was a tough shot in heavy traffic. Here comes Velasquez looking for Chestnut, and the Dolphins did not space that fast break very well. That was a tight window. 3 players running the lane together. Kone hands it off to Taylor Jr., 12 on the shot clock. That's Kirkland for 3. Off the front rim and rebounded by Mallory. Velasquez. Big crossover. Step back 3. Splash. And Chris Velasquez has given the Dolphins a double-digit lead. CSI now leads by 11. The strong start continues for the Dolphins. They are 6 of 8 from beyond the arc. The Mavericks just 5 of 16 from the field early. Smith Jr. up top for Taylor Jr. The Dolphins bench loves it. Tough shot, no good. The Dolphins defense getting a bit overshadowed by their shooting early in this game, but the Dolphins have played very strong defense through the first 11 minutes. They've forced a lot of tough shots and have hit some equally tough shots at the other end. Fakarode, splash! And the Dolphins are now 7 of 9, make it 8 of 10 from beyond the arc. What a start for CSI. Timeout Mavericks. For the Dolphins, Velasquez has hit his only 3. Chestnut has hit his only 3. Mallory has hit his only 3. Shkolny has hit his only 3. Fakarode has hit his only 3. And Luis Armas has hit 3 of his 5 attempts from three-point range. The Dolphins lead it by 14. We'll take a quick 30-second break, and we'll be right back.
Car is damaged? Where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4890.
And we're back from the tank. Dolphins lead it by 14 points. Just under 9 minutes to play in this first half. As that basket goes down from three-point range, count it, and 1. Sean Smith Jr. gives the Mavericks a much-needed boost at the offensive end with that 3. He heads to the line for one more. Dolphins defense in this first half may get overshadowed a bit by their shooting, and rightfully so. But the Dolphins have played very good defense here in this first half. And Chestnut was just a bit too aggressive on the closeout, got into the landing space, and Smith Jr. completes the 4-point play. Oyekanmi underneath. Tough shot. Count it. And 1. Michael Oyekanmi for 2. And he will head to the line for one more. Big answer there by the Dolphins freshman. Oyekanmi had a solid week last week, and will look to continue that strong play here this week. As the Dolphins are right back in front by 12 points, they have a chance to make it 13 from the line. Luis Armas waiting at the scorer's table, and he will check in. Messiah Mallory heads to the bench for the first time. Mallory had 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. The only blemish on his stat line, 3 turnovers. Floater by Smith Jr. is short. Rebound loose. And the Mavericks have it. Wilson was left open, thought about it, puts up the 3, and it rattles out. Tipped away and brought in by Chris Velasquez. Under 8 minutes to play in the first half. The Dolphins' largest lead has been 14, and they will have a chance right here to extend their lead past that as Velasquez will head to the line. Following this media timeout. 7:51 on the clock. Dolphins lead it 31-18. Chris Velasquez to the line for the Dolphins. 2 shots coming up with his team leading by 13 points. 7:51 on the clock in the first half. First free throw by Velasquez. Too strong, but he gets the roll off the front rim. I said it earlier in the week, and I will say it again. Soft rims here at the College of Staten Island. A lot of friendly bounces off the iron. And the Dolphins now have their largest lead of 15 points. I think right now the 2 big questions that remain: can the Dolphins maintain this level of intensity on defense? And can they maintain anything close to this level of shooting from the outside? If the answer to one of those questions is yes, they have themselves in a great position with a 15-point lead. And on the putback, Oyekanmi couldn't finish. Velasquez did a nice job to get inside, but his layup was also no good. And off the kick out, the wide open man is Kirkland. He can't connect on the 3. And the Dolphins have another rebound. I mentioned the Dolphins potentially could get exploited on the glass in this game. Not so to this point. Rebounds favor Staten Island 15-7. Dolphins have the advantage in just about every category early in this game as Fakarode traveled. That turnover for the Dolphins is number 8. That's one area where the Mavericks have gotten the better of CSI. Mavericks have only coughed it up 4 times. Lee against Oyekanmi. Tough shot with the left, and that won't go. The Dolphins continue to force the Mavericks into some very tough shots. Nothing easy for Mercy College in this game. That's a big reason why the Dolphins lead by 15. Step back 3. Rattles out for Velasquez. The way the Dolphins have shot it, you figure every one of those right now is going to go down. Kick out for Taylor Jr. He can't get the 3 to go. Mavericks have gotten some good looks from 3-point range. It's been inside the arc where good looks have been tough to come by. Oyekanmi hands off to Shkolny. His 3 is up. Splash. Not only are the Dolphins connecting on a high percentage of their 3s, but some of them have been very tough shots as Oyekanmi rebounds that miss. 1 and done for the Mavericks at the offensive end. CSI doubling up the Mercy College Mavericks right now. 36-18 as Shkolny lost control of that one right in front of me. That was about 3 to 5 feet away to my right. 5:22 on the clock. This is Conroy. Nice bounce pass inside for Joe. He lost it, but Taylor Jr. has it. Now Conroy's open, and he hits the 3. That's a big basket for the Mavericks. They need to stay within striking distance. And they haven't shot it well in this first half. And that's an offensive foul against Shkolny. Shkolny can't believe it. Four and a half minutes to play in this first half, as I've just received word that our camera might be running low on battery upstairs. In an emergency, we'll switch over to our courtside camera for the remainder of the half. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. We had 3 bars when we started. Brandon Wilson scored those last 2 for the Mavericks. As Velasquez can't get the floater to go, Fakarode has the rebound. He goes up, can't finish, the tip is no good, and Lee pulls it in. 4 minutes to play in the half. The Mavericks making a bit of a run here. And there's another offensive board, this time for Wilson. He wanted Conroy in the corner and couldn't get it there. And we will have a media timeout. So with our final media timeout of the half, we'll step aside and take a quick break. Our score, Staten Island 36, Mercy College 23.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the tank where the Dolphins' lead is 13 points. College of Staten Island shooting 55% from the field and 75% from downtown. As for the CSI defense, the Dolphins have held the Mavericks to just 8 of 28. That's 29% from the floor and 4 of 12 from three-point range. Mavericks are on a bit of a run right now, as the Mavericks, I believe, have scored the last 5, if I'm not mistaken. That is correct, the last 5. A basket here could make it a 7-0 or 8-0 run. Baseline drive by Wilson, and the shot clock expires. Now, doesn't appear the Mavericks were aware. I certainly was not aware, as I'm trying to make sure we get our camera situation on the upper concourse sorted out. In terms of battery life, halftime cannot come soon enough. Under 3.5 minutes to play in half number 1. Velasquez pressured into a turnover. He nearly got a backcourt violation as Conroy is short from the corner. The Mavericks have had opportunities over the last few minutes. They've had some good looks, as the Dolphins will call timeout with 3:06 on the clock. Now we will be joined at halftime by CSI men's basketball head coach TJ Tibbs. TJ joins us each and every game at the halftime break, so we expect him to come over following the conclusion of this first half, and it'll be interesting to see what his demeanor looks like. His team right now leads by 13 points. The Dolphins have led by as many as 18 points, and I'm very curious to find out from him what he feels is the story of this first half. Will it be the three-point shooting? or the defense. Something tells me he's going to first mention that he's upset with how his team finished this half. They have not scored now in quite some time. The last Dolphins made field goal came all the way back at about the 6-minute mark. That was a Shkolny 3. Velasquez kicks out to Mallory. Handoff to Armas was faked. He comes back the other way. 8 on the shot clock. Velasquez for 3. Short. Rebound to Lee. The offensive drought for the Dolphins now over 3 minutes as Lee was left open, and he's short. Looked like the Dolphins were in his own defense right there, and Lee just stepped up to the free throw line, was left wide open. Mallory up to Armas. Jab step into a 3. And the rebound goes to Fakarode, and he's called for traveling. 2:21 on the clock. The Mavericks have had multiple possessions with a chance to bring this back to a 10-point Dolphin lead. Joe surveys the floor and gets it to Conroy. Conroy into the corner. Lee is left open. He shoots, and he buries it. Lee's been given quite a bit of space. Now, not sure if the Dolphins have made a conscious decision to give him room, but Lee is able to knock down that last one. He is all over Mallory. Will Mallory look to answer? He's doubled. Almost lost it. He got it to Fakarode, and that's an offensive foul. I mentioned before the Dolphins were a bit short-handed in their last game. Thus far in this game, they've played just 7 players. Perhaps fatigue could be an issue here at the end of the first half. Mavericks, if I'm not mistaken, have played 8 so far. I'll double-check that right now as they attend to some condensation on the floor. Mavericks have played 9. Jonathan LaPierre got in for just 2 minutes as they're going to check what appears to be a wet spot on the floor. Now from here, it looks like there might be some discoloration of the paint in that area, but condensation has been an issue all season long. Not here at CSI, but overall in college basketball, especially early in the season. There were several games canceled during opening weekend back in November due to condensation. .15 on the shot clock for the Mavericks. The officials stopped the game there to attend to that wet spot as Conroy throws up an air ball. Here comes Velasquez, and a good hand there to get into the passing lane by Braylon Joe. Here comes Joe back the other way. Conroy for 3, and it rattles out. That was halfway down. That was a big shot for Sean Conroy. He's been busy in this first half. He's now 1 of 5 in just 10 minutes. Armas in the corner, steps behind the line. No good. And the offensive drought continues for the Dolphins as that layup by James Taylor Jr. is good. Head coach TJ Tibbs shaking his head on the bench as his team's lead is now down to 9 points. They need to update the scoreboard. That's Mallory for 3. It's short. And we have a foul. Now the scoreboard is malfunctioning right now, and they can't get those last 2 points up on the board. They're working on it. And Stephanie has the magic touch. Dolphins are in a penalty situation here. It's a 1-and-1 for the Mavericks. As right now they're getting the foul situation sorted out. And the front end of the 1-and-1 is good for James Taylor Jr. Second free throw is good. It's a 7-point game. The Dolphins haven't scored in nearly 6 minutes. Chestnut out to Mallory. He fakes the pass and takes the three. It rattles out. 2 seconds remaining in the half, and that'll do it. As the heave is no good. And that will bring the first half to a close. Our score heading into halftime, Staten Island 36, Mercy College 29.
Nick, just work on the volumes.
And I'm joined by Dolphins head coach T.J. Tibbs. Coach, let's start with the good part of the first half. Early, the defense and the shooting. What was the bigger takeaway from the start to that half that got your team out ahead?
They played basketball, so forgot how to play basketball for whatever that part after that. So just not tough enough right now to be able to compete in a game with a great team and a well-coached team. So.
What's the number one thing that needs to change going into the second half and at the start of the half to get back to that lead where you were at about 15 points? All right, enough said. Picture speaks 1,000 words. That's Dolphins head coach T.J. Tibbs. And when we come back, we'll have the second half of coverage from the College of Staten Island. Our score at the break, CSI 36, Mercy College 29. And we are back from the tank with just over 1 minute to go before the start of the second half. The Dolphins lead the Mavericks 36-29. It was a tale of two halves in half number one. Early in the game, the Dolphins shot the lights out from three-point range. CSI finished the half 9 of 17 from downtown. At one point, they were 8 of 10. At one point, the Dolphins also led 36-18 behind not only great outside shooting, but great defense as well. The defense didn't slack off much late in the half. The shooting did cool off. The Dolphins continued to contest shots heavily and make things tough for the Mavericks. Unfortunately, that was not enough. The Dolphins have not scored in the last 5 minutes and 46 seconds. They'll hope to reverse that quickly at the start of half number two. But for this Dolphins team, this script, an all too familiar one, they have started off both of their home games earlier this year incredibly well. That was not enough to pick up the victory in either of those games. The Dolphins are 0-2 at home, 1-4 on the season thus far. And they hope to pick up their first home victory tonight at the start of the second half. They do have a 7-point lead, but things will need to change for the College of Staten Island based on what we saw at the end of half number one. They do have a good blueprint to follow, as this game could not have gotten off to a much better start. It will be the same starting five for both teams at the start of half number two. No changes for either side. And the first inbound of the half will take place from right in front of us here at the commentary desk. 20 minutes to play between the Dolphins and the Mavericks. CSI leads it 36-29 at the start of half number two. Once we have a quick break, we'll give you some first half numbers for both teams. I mentioned some of the shooting numbers. Messiah Mallory fakes, goes up, and finishes off the window. Count it and one. Mallory in the first half had 5 points. He was 2 of 5 from the floor. Also had 4 assists. 4 rebounds as well. Luis Armas led the Dolphins in scoring. He had 3 3-pointers, accounting for all 9 of his points. With that free throw, Mallory now has 8. Dolphins right back ahead by double figures. They end their scoring drought. That was tipped away and stolen. Good harassing defense by Shkolny. Velasquez inside to Mallory. Do the Mavericks have an answer for Mallory as he lost the ball? There's one way to slow him down. No foul. Ball was lost by Braylon Joe over the baseline. James Taylor Jr. had 10 points in the first half for the Mavericks. He shot just 2 of 9. Was 2 of 5 from downtown. He was also their leading rebounder with 4. This is Sean Smith Jr., and he finishes a tough turnaround shot. He now has 6. That makes him Mercy's second leading scorer. Armas too strong on the 3. Rebound goes to Mercy. 6-point game. Taylor Jr. stumbles, and he was fouled. That foul against Messiah Mallory. No foul trouble to speak of in this game yet. Shkolny went down to the floor there. The shot by Corey Lee, no good. Chestnut to the rim, count it! Through the contact and one. J.J. Chestnut with a finish off the window. Second and 1 of the half for the Dolphins. And Chestnut will head to the line for one more. Chestnut's free throw is good. Dolphins ahead by 11 now. On the right wing, that's Kirkland. Gets it over to Lee. Lee goes right at Mallory and can't finish off glass. Shkolny with the rebound, and he'll hand it off to Chestnut. .20 to shoot for the Dolphins. Chestnut had it poked away. He nearly lost it. He's down on the floor, jump ball. And possession will go to the Mavericks. Good effort defensively there by Braylon Joe. Not the first time I've said that tonight. Chestnut and Joe were going back and forth. Once again, condensation on the floor being addressed. Mavericks inbound. This is Joe. He was briefly double-teamed. Now Lee outside. Taylor Jr. out to Joe. 5 on the shot clock. And that won't go. Rebound goes to Mallory. Chestnut for Shkolny. Too strong. Mallory with the offensive board. Can't finish on the putback. Joe on the outside has Lee. Mallory giving him space. That's Kirkland. Short. And the putback is good. Sean Smith Jr. on the board again here in the second half. The Dolphin lead back to single digits. Staten Island ahead by 9. Mallory at the top of the arc. Gives it up to Velasquez. Velasquez pull up. That's good. Velasquez with his second bucket. He has 4. That's Braylon Joe for 3. And the Mavericks are back to within 8. Mercy seems to have found their rhythm offensively. They struggled early, but have been much better since late in the first half. Mallory throws one up, and he traveled. Good defense by Lee. Frustrating Mallory on that last attempt. Michael Oyakanmi checks in. Looks like David Shkolny was headed over to the trainer's table. Hopefully he's okay. Smith Jr. through the legs. Good defense by Oyakanmi there. And Velasquez kicked it. Shot clock resets to 20. Smith Jr. pull up. And that's good. Sean Smith Jr. for three. He's come alive at the offensive end of the floor. He now has 11, and the Dolphin lead has been trimmed down to 5. Mallory goes right at Lee. Kicks out to Chestnut. Chestnut to the rim, and that's a nice finish by J.J. Chestnut. Another big basket for the Dolphins. Joe, left alone, floater is good, and the Dolphins lost him. Chestnut went for the steal, and he had no backup as Chestnut is fouled before crossing half court, and that will bring us to a media timeout. 15:28 on the clock in the second half. The Dolphins once led by 18 points. Their lead has been trimmed to 5.
Cobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins lead is 5 points as we approach 5 minutes gone by in the second half. Mallory hands off to Chestnut. 18 to shoot for CSI. Mallory has a size advantage on the inside, and he takes full advantage as he lays that in. Great job by Mallory to spin away from a double team on the baseline. His footwork in the paint is so good. As he blocks Smith Jr., Taylor Jr. is open, and he's short on the three. Loose ball and a foul is called against the Dolphins. Mavericks will inbound from the baseline. They get a new 20-second shot clock. Sean Conroy into the game for the Mavericks. Kirkland heads to the bench as Oyakanmi commits the foul. That's another quick personal foul on the Dolphins. That's 3 team fouls on Staten Island, 3 on Mercy. Once again, the shot clock resets to 20 seconds. Conroy throws it up top to Lee. Had trouble getting it in there. This is Taylor Jr., defended closely by Velasquez. He gives it up to Joe. Nearly had it stripped away. Bounce pass inside. Lee corrals it and finishes off the window. Corey Lee has come alive in the second half as well. He now has 6. Chestnut out to Mallory. Mallory gives it up to Armas. 15 to shoot. Now Chestnut. Over to Velasquez. Crossover step back. And that shot is the bread and butter for Clis Velasquez. Dolphins back in front by 7. They get it to Sean Smith Jr., who hands off to Taylor Jr. Taylor Jr. on the drive. And an offensive foul was called. Nice job by the Dolphins there defensively, standing their ground underneath. James Taylor Jr. couldn't believe the call as he heads to the bench. 50-43 our score. Chestnut right at the basket. Gets it to Mallory. Mallory bounce pass for Oyekanmi. Nearly stolen. Armas to the floor. And the Dolphins earn another possession. Chestnut for 3. No good. Too strong. He gets his own miss and banks it in. J.J. Chestnut with a nice hustle play right there. 2 more second chance points. Those second chance points, only 3 and 4 for Staten Island. The Mavericks already in double figures with 10 second chance points. Armas off the head fake, looks to drive baseline. Great feed inside, and Oyekanmi lays it in. Great pass from Luis Armas. And a timeout is called by the Mavericks. 12:49 to play in the game. The Dolphins back in front by double figures yet again. The CSI lead is 11 with 12:49 to play.
You can stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we're back from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, where the Dolphins' lead is 11 points, just inside of 13 minutes to play in half number 2. The Dolphins looking for their first home victory of the year. It would be their second win in their last 3 games. For both teams, this is their conference opener. Both teams looking to get off to a 1-0 start against the East Coast Conference. Of course, the Dolphins, a part of the ECC, all of their home games broadcast right here on the ECC network all season long. And if you're a fan of all things CSI athletics, our next broadcast will be on Friday as Swimming and Diving hosts the CSI Invite. First time the Dolphins will host that event here at the College of Staten Island. Fellow ECC program Roberts Wesleyan will also be competing in the CSI Invite, so be sure to tune in for that on Friday evening. Coverage begins at 5:15 p.m. As for tonight, we have 12:45 on the clock. A good one here at the tank as Conroy can't get the turnaround jumper to go. And the offensive rebound was stripped away from Smith Jr. Quick hands there from Velasquez to poke that ball loose. .15 on the shot clock for the Dolphins. Mallory Posts up along the baseline. He's double teamed and was knocked down to the floor. With only 9 on the shot clock, they will reset it back to 20. Armas will inbound. Mavericks substitution coming on is James Taylor Jr. He did not sit long as Braylon Joe heads back to the Mercy College bench. They continue to address condensation down on the floor as the Dolphins get it into Mallory and quickly work it over to Velasquez. That pass was tipped, and down goes our monitor. And out goes our monitor feed, so I'll have to fix that during the next break. Well, the monitor is completely out right now. Hopefully that'll fix it. As Mallory tried to get it to Oyekanmi again, but that pass was stolen. Feed inside. Kone. No good. And 2 Dolphins knocked the ball away from one another. Armas and Chestnut came together as we have a media timeout. So with that, we'll step aside and take another quick break. Dolphins lead 54-43.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Just inside of 12 minutes to play in the second half. The Dolphins have extended their halftime lead, which was 7 points, up to 11. And the Dolphins have played far better early in the second half than they did late in the first half. And it seems like they really needed that halftime intermission to talk things over a bit. Their head coach, T.J. Tibbs, clearly was not happy when I spoke to him during our halftime interview. But right now it appears whatever message he had for his team is working. Dolphins have extended their lead by 4. And they force another turnover right here. The defensive intensity has been there for the Dolphins. Very active hands, especially on the glass. No rebounds have come easily for the Mavericks. Dolphins have stolen a few extra possessions, one at the offensive end as well. They have not hesitated in diving down to the floor as that pass just got through. Armas wide open. No good. Mallory can't tip it in. Mallory wanted to throw that one down. You could see it. Kone double teamed, and he traveled. Dolphins get it right back off the turnover. The Mavericks with a full court press here. Armas gets it into Mallory. Mallory attacks, kicks out. Velasquez, pull-up jumper. Off the back iron and out. Here come the Mavericks. Wilson for 3. Too strong. Rebound to Chestnut. The Mavericks shooting 16 of 50. As Chestnut finds Oyekanmi for an easy 2. One freshman to another on that connection underneath. And Chestnut continues to play extremely well in this game. Has done a little of everything. Defense, hustle after loose balls, good passing, and some shot making. Kone fakes and doesn't get it to go. Smith Jr. with the rebound. It's knocked away, and it will stay Mavericks basketball. Chestnut has 10 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and has shot an efficient 4 of 7 in 21 minutes. Chestnut, one of several Dolphins who have played huge minutes the last week. As Lee is left open, he can't connect, and Oyekanmi has the rebound. Velasquez will bring it up as we approach 10 minutes to play in the second half. Fakarode gave it up to Mallory. Mallory on the drive, into the corner, open 3. Too strong by Velasquez, and the rebound goes to Wilson. Good fake by Smith Jr. and a great contest by Chestnut, who rotated over defensively. Conroy is open, and he's too strong on the 3. Smith Jr. went down very hard underneath. The Dolphins have a one-man advantage if they hurry, and that one nearly got away. Chestnut posting up, gets inside, can't finish with the left, grabs his own miss, finds Oyekanmi, he can't finish, and it will be Mavericks basketball. Dolphins all over the offensive glass there. Nothing to show for it, and the lead remains 13 points. Taylor Jr. into the corner. Smith Jr. was open and could not connect from distance. The Mavericks have gone ice cold from downtown, and the commentators' jinx strikes again as James Taylor Jr. hits the 3. The Dolphins are down to 9 of 21 from 3. The Mavericks are now 7 of 22. Mallory for Velasquez. Velasquez with a big crossover. Turnaround jumper is good. Chris Velasquez continues to get it done at the offensive end. He's had a nice night after a great week last week. That basket will not count. Velasquez leads the Dolphins in scoring with 11. And Josh Vargas will check in, replacing Messiah Mallory for Staten Island. .22 on the shot clock for the Mavericks. 8:25 to play in the game. Kirkland is fouled. Fakarode can't believe it. With that, Dolphins now have 5 team fouls. And they're going to say 2 shots. Both teams have committed 5 fouls here in the second half. 2 shots here for Kirkland. The first is good. And with a made free throw here, Mavericks are back to within 10 again. (58-48). CSI leads with 8:23 remaining. Chestnut gets it across the timeline. 20 on the shot clock. Velasquez taking his time and will get a screen from Vargas. Velasquez. Fakarode. Too strong. Braylon Joe has it. He's looking to run. Joe into the corner. Kirkland 3. No good, and Vargas commits the foul. Dolphins bench can't believe it, and that foul call will bring us to another media timeout. Under 8 minutes to play in the second half, the Dolphins' lead is 10, and Kirkland is headed to the line for 3 when we come back.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins lead it by 10 points with 7:52 remaining in the second half. Chance here at the line for Garrett Kirtland to make this a 7-point game. Make that an 8-point game. As I think the signal was originally 2 shots. It is 3 from the line. Second free throw is good. We had some conflicting signals coming our way. Kirkland now has 6. Check that. He has 4, as our live stats were updated. Kirkland now has 5 points, and his team trails by 7. On the floor for the Dolphins, Chestnut, Oyekanmi, Mallory, Velasquez, and Fakarode. Another pull-up by Velasquez rattles out. That was halfway down, and the rebound was knocked away from Mallory. It will be Mavericks basketball. Dolphins still lead in the rebounding department, 34-27 on the offensive glass. Mavericks have grabbed 11 to the Dolphins' 8. Taylor Jr. is surveying. Finds an open man up top, and that three-pointer is good by Damani Scott. Scott comes off the bench and makes an immediate impact. We have a 4-point game. Under 7 minutes to play. Chestnut gets a screen from Mallory. 15 on the shot clock. Velasquez crosses over. Looks to drive. Spins. Got trapped. Here comes Chestnut to the rim. His pass deflected and stolen by the Mavericks. Taylor Jr. around the back. Conroy had his pass tipped, and Kirkland was ready to fire from the corner. Luis Armas back into the game for the Dolphins. Adefella Fakarode heads to the bench. And the cavalry is incoming. The Fanatics section about to be populated by CSI Baseball. It's about to get much louder in here. That's Taylor Jr. on the pull-up. And wait a minute. Looks like we may have no basket here. And instead, we may have a technical foul. I think technical foul was the signal. So count the basket. It's a 2-point game. And it is a technical foul. So that's a big call as Armas hits the free throw. Hopefully our statisticians know what to do there. If not, I'll swoop in for the rescue after the game. Dolphins will inbound, now leading by 3 after the made technical free throw. Dolphins have been completely unfazed by the Mavericks press. Chestnut has it. 12 on the shot clock. Well beyond the arc here. He crosses over. Feeds Mallory. Mallory's doubled and rejected. Scott with an emphatic swat. And he has made a very quick impact since entering the game. He attacks the rim and Mallory fouls him. For a moment, I thought Mallory had returned the favor with a block of his own. Mallory came into tonight's game with 17 rejections on the year. Mallory picks up his third personal. It's the 7th team foul for the Dolphins, who now lead by just 2. Chestnut will bring it up. He gives it up to Velasquez and receives it right back. Dolphins get into their set with about 18 on the shot clock. Chestnut, left-handed floater, no good. Mallory's tip-in is good. Messiah Mallory with a big 2 points right there. And the Dolphins are back ahead by 3. Scott is fouled. Mallory can't believe it, and he now has 4 fouls. Dolphins now in a very precarious position late in this game. Their leading scorer, leading rebounder, and arguably their best interior defender now has 4 fouls. And they are clinging to a lead late in this game. And Mallory will be relegated to the bench. David Shkolny back into the game. Shkolny was getting checked out at the trainer's table earlier. He appears okay. Free throw, no good. And the Dolphins maintain a 3-point lead. 0 of 2 from the line for Scott. Armas out to Chestnut. He thought about a 3. Armas defended closely by Conroy. And a deep 3 is partially blocked. Dolphins going nowhere on that last possession. Taylor Jr. for Smith Jr. for the tie, short. And Shkolny has the rebound. Dolphins continue to cling to this lead. The CSI advantage is 3 points. Play call comes in from the bench. Chestnut to the rim, and he banks it in. J.J. Chestnut is having a phenomenal game tonight. He's done it all for this Dolphins team at both ends of the floor. Chestnut now has 12. Taylor Jr. left open, and that's a big shot the other way for the Mavericks. And it's now a 2-point game again. 4 minutes remaining. And Velasquez touched it last. He tried to pull his hand away and could not. And that will send us to our final media timeout of the game. The Dolphins' lead is 2 points, 63-61, with 3:53 remaining.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Under 4 minutes remaining from the tank. CSI men's basketball looks to make it a sweep of the Mavericks this evening. The women picked up the win in our early game. The men looking to take care of business in the late game. Mercy hopes to have something to say about that as Scott goes right at Oh You Can Me, and he is fouled. Damani Scott has come into this game and been extremely aggressive at the offensive end. He's already been to the line twice. This will be his 3rd trip to the line. And with 2 free throws, he can tie this game at 63. First free throw is good. And the Mavericks are within a point. And Scott cannot tie the score. He's just 3 of 6 from the line. Chestnut had his pass tipped. I thought he was going up with that one. Conroy. And he buries the 3 to put the Mavericks ahead by 2. The Dolphins and their fans right now shocked as the Mavericks lead it for the first time since the early going in this game. Chestnut, left-handed floater is good. Chestnut looking to take over here. Mallory is on the bench. He is waiting to check in. Chestnut now has 14. And traveling was called against Scott. And Mallory will check back in for the Dolphins. Oyekanmi to the bench. And we are knotted up at 65. Chestnut hesitates, takes it inside, and can't get the lefty layup to go. The Mavericks have a one-man advantage. Chestnut sprints back. Conroy fakes. Corner 3, no good. And Mallory has the rebound. Conroy in the game, just 2 of 7 from downtown. They are denying Chestnut the ball here. Velasquez around the back to the rim, and the layup won't go. But we have a foul underneath. And if that's against the Mavericks, Shkolny will go to the line for a 1-and-1. Still awaiting the call here. I do believe Shkolny's headed to the line. Instead, it's Velasquez. So 2 free throws here for Chris Velasquez. James Taylor Jr. just picked up his 4th. First free throw by Velasquez is good. And the Dolphins will send Armas and Mallory to the bench. Likely trying to avoid a 5th foul on Mallory. With 3 timeouts remaining, I would presume we'll see CSI call a timeout should they make a stop here. 2 minutes remaining. The Dolphins lead by 2. Scott gets a screen. Conroy gets it back up top to Scott. 12 on the shot clock. Taylor Jr. open, and his 3 is short. Scott, big rebound. He's rejected by Oyekanmi. Velasquez snatches it in. Huge block by Oyekanmi, and the Dolphins call timeout. That is a huge rejection by Michael Oyekanmi, and we will get a second look at it as he stuffs the second shot attempt off of the offensive board. Here you'll see it. The initial shot missed, and Oyekanmi came in and swatted away the second try. The Dolphins freshman coming up huge. As you see it right there, Damani Scott has come in off of the Mavericks bench and has undoubtedly been the most aggressive player on the floor at the offensive end for Mercy. That time it didn't pay off, and the Dolphins have a chance to make this a 2-possession game with 93 seconds remaining on the clock. For CSI in this game, Velasquez has 13, Armas has 10, Chestnut has 14, Mallory has 12. Mallory has 12 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Once again, the blemish on the stat line for him, 7 turnovers. Michael Oyekanmi also has 9 points, 8 rebounds. On the other side for the Mavericks, they are led in scoring by James Taylor Jr. He has 18 points. He shot at 4 of 8 from three-point range. Sean Smith Jr. has 11. He's 2 of 5 from downtown. As a team, the Mavericks shooting just 33%, yet they only trail by 2. Chestnut surveys the floor. The Dolphins taking their time here, leading by a pair. Shkolny looks to drive, finds Velasquez. Wide open three. No good. And Shkolny has the rebound. It's stripped away by Taylor Jr. He attacks the rim, gets around Mallory, and scores. James Taylor Jr. with a huge play to poke that ball away from Shkolny and finish in transition. Under a minute to play, we are tied at 67. Here comes Chestnut. Up to Armas for 3. No good, and Chestnut has it. Jump ball was called, and the possession arrow favors Staten Island. 46.9 remaining in the game, and the Dolphins will inbound it with 20 on the shot clock. The Dolphins could go 2 for 1 in this spot, but if they hurry and don't get a quality look, they may not have much time following the Mavericks' next possession. We'll see what they do. Velasquez for Shkolny. He nearly threw it away. 8 to shoot. Shkolny, big crossover. Velasquez has it. Pull-up three-pointer. Air ball. Nice job there by Conroy to box out Shkolny. If he didn't, Shkolny was going to tip that back in. And the Mavericks will have a chance with possession in a tie game to win it with 1 basket. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. The Dolphins have no fouls to give. The Mavericks are in the double bonus with the next Dolphins foul. CSI remains in the 1-1. Should they get possession back and get fouled themselves. First and foremost on this possession, the Dolphins need to make sure that the Mavericks work for whatever it is that they try and take at the offensive end, whether it's a three-pointer or attacking the rim. The Dolphins have to make sure the Mavericks work for it. Of course, with 27.8 remaining, the Mavericks can hold for the final shot. And that makes my last point even more relevant. Should the Mavericks try and hold it for the last shot of the game, they'll have a very limited window to work with to get a quality shot. There's no doubt that they'll try and diagram a play for those closing seconds right here. And we'll see what it is they come up with. But if the Dolphins can defend for anywhere between maybe 5 to 7 seconds at the end of this game, they can come up with the stop they need to force overtime. Now, I mentioned the offensive boards earlier in the game. The Mavericks had an advantage in that category earlier. The Dolphins have closed the gap. Offensive rebounds favor the Mavericks 12-11. And if the Dolphins do come up with a stop, they of course need to make sure they close out that stop with a rebound. The ball is not advanced on that last Mavericks timeout. So they will inbound from the opposite end of the floor. From their bench, that is. The Dolphins applying pressure. Joe will bring it up. Defended by Chestnut. 20 seconds remaining. The Dolphins will look to double here. Conroy into the corner. Smith Jr. looks to drive. He fakes, goes up, and banks it in. 10.3 remaining. The Dolphins do have 2 timeouts, and they will use one here. 6.9 on the clock. The Dolphins will still have 1 timeout remaining after this. But for CSI, it is do or die at the offensive end. They need a basket, and they trail for just the second time in this half as the Mavericks erase what was once an 18-point first-half deficit. They now lead it by 2 with 6.9 on the clock. The Dolphins bench consulting with the scorer's table to figure out how many timeouts they have and whether or not their remaining timeout is a 30-second or a full. I believe the signal was 30. Now, I don't know if they were responding to what their remaining timeout was or what this timeout was, but based on how long we've been here waiting, it looks like the Dolphins just used their final full timeout. The Dolphins have no shortage of shooting in their lineup. Shkolny, Chestnut, Armas, Mallory, Velasquez, the 5 out there for Staten Island. All 5 are capable of knocking down a three-pointer. The Dolphins will inbound it from in front of their own bench, and they will take their final timeout.
Timeout, Dolphins.
So perhaps the Dolphins wanted to get a look at what the Mavericks were coming out in. More often, you'll see the team on defense call a timeout and get a look at what the offense is coming out in, not here. As the Dolphins are huddled around their head coach, TJ Tibbs, looking to diagram one final play. A three-pointer likely would win it. They need 2 to tie and send this game to overtime. Same 5 on the floor for the Dolphins. Joe, Conroy, Smith Jr., Lee, and Taylor Jr. on the floor for Mercy College. If the Mavericks foul, the Dolphins go to the line for a 1-and-1. But we will have to wait 30 seconds longer as the Mavericks do exactly what I thought they might before and call a timeout. Still 6.9 seconds remaining. It is still 69-67 Mavericks, and the Dolphins will have 30 more seconds to diagram a play and potentially win this game. Once again, Chestnut, Velasquez, Armas, Shkolny, Mallory, Joe, Smith Jr., Lee, Conroy, and Taylor Jr. Those the 10 on the floor, 5 for the Dolphins and 5 for the Mavericks. 6.9 on the clock. Dolphins will inbound from in front of their own bench. Chestnut for Velasquez. Velasquez looks to drive. He takes it inside. Can't get it to go, but a foul is called. A foul was called underneath. And I'm not sure if it was on the Velasquez attempt or on the follow. For Braylon Joe, that is his 3rd personal, and Chris Velasquez will head to the line for 2 huge free throws. So it was a shooting foul. 2 shots awarded to Velasquez. And it's short. The Dolphins have no timeouts remaining. It would be a 1-and-1 at the line for the Mavericks. But the Dolphins may need to miss intentionally here. We'll see what they do. Missing a shot on purpose is not easy. Both teams trying to configure where they want each of their players stationed ahead of this free throw attempt, but with that miss, it's going to be tough for the Dolphins to pull this one out. We'll see. And Velasquez missed it, but Conroy gets the rebound, and that will do it. As the Dolphins fall by 2 points, our final score, Mercy College 69 and CSI 67. A heartbreaking defeat for the Dolphins, who led for almost the entire game. CSI led by 18 in the first half. That lead was trimmed down to 7 by halftime, and the Mavericks ultimately pull this game out in the closing minutes as they defeat the College of Staten Island by just 2 points. For the Dolphins, a tremendous effort from J.J. Chestnut, 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Messiah Mallory, yet another double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists for Mallory. Chris Velasquez with his third consecutive strong effort. He had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. But it was the Mavericks coming away with the win. They were led in scoring by James Taylor Jr. Their offense really stepped up their game in the second half. Taylor Jr. finished with 20. Sean Smith Jr. finished with 13. Those two came in the leading scorers for Mercy College. They led the way offensively here tonight. Some final team stats. The Dolphins were shooting around the 50% mark in the first half. They were shooting incredibly well from downtown, around 67% during the first half. They finished shooting 42.5% from the field and 35% from downtown. The Mavericks did not shoot it well throughout this game. They finished shooting 35% from the field and 36% from downtown. The two teams combined to take 27 free throws, 10 by the Dolphins, 17 for the Mavericks. The Dolphins were 8 of 10. The Mavericks 13 of 17. Rebounding advantage to the College of Staten Island, 42-33. The Dolphins led for 87% of this game. A very weird statistic that is available to us. The Dolphins spent nearly 35 full minutes leading in this game. The Mavericks led for just 1 minute and 45 seconds, but they downed the College of Staten Island by 2. So that will wrap up coverage of our NCAA Division II basketball doubleheader. Women's basketball takes Game 1 for the College of Staten Island. Mercy College men's basketball takes Game 2. Once again, our final, 69-67. This has been Joe Foreman. Our engineer tonight was Nick Velarde. Our camera operator on court level, John Esposito. Up top, Pat Gilorenzo on camera. Our statisticians, Louis Matrone and Nick Bavona. All of us, thank you for tuning in this evening. Be sure to tune back in on Friday for swimming and diving as they host the CSI Invite. Basketball back in the tank and here on CSI Sportsnet next Tuesday night when the Dolphins take on the University of the District of Columbia. Until then, everyone enjoy the rest of your week.